This is Karen Treaster, and welcome to Fruitful Fridays. And I trust today that everybody's been enjoying their day yesterday, hopefully celebrating with families, friends for Independence Day, and looking forward to a nice long weekend, some of you. It's all about celebration. It's all about remembering our forefathers who gave us independence, who signed that declaration, that we have choices, we have independence, and we've got so many opportunities. So it's amazing, and it truly is something to celebrate. I am so grateful for my independence. And that's one of the reasons I chose the words choice, because really, we have a choice in life. We can choose how to be. We can choose what to do. And we can choose who we're with. We have just so many choices. We have free will and the independence to do it. So take a deep breath. And speaking of celebrating, let's celebrate what you did this past week and how you were fruitful. So that's what we do each and every Friday with these tips and inspiration. And then we're going to talk about staying in the flow and 5 top choices to make that happen. Because again, it's our choice. This is a journey, and make it a great one. You can do it. You can do it with ease and no stress. Well, everybody has stress, but you can choose to do practices that help you with that stress. So anyway, let's get back to celebrating what you did, what you accomplished, anything new that you did. If you're here, I welcome anybody that's live. Maybe a lot of people are going to be watching the replay. Think about and just reflect on what you did that you felt really good about this week, what you accomplished, what you started. Maybe you started something new, and write it down. Write it down, give it some energy. And the more you do that, there's something about writing it down that you are just more apt to fulfill and continue with doing the same thing, because you get that little reward, just like we're celebrating this weekend, and remembering why we're here and who fought for us. So go ahead, put it down. I'd love to see what you did, or just write it down on a piece of paper. And we're going to get started with our topic today. However, for those who don't know me, I'm Karen Treaster. My company is Never Settle Life Coaching, and I work with people in transition and with divorced women to get whole and thrive, to find more confidence, more success, and more joy in every single day. And isn't that what it's all about? And I do have a Facebook group called Get Whole and Thrive, so please join that. So let's get started. And again, it's staying in the flow. And these are my top choices. I think these are, and they're universal. I think that they've been proven that it will help you to feel better and to stay in the flow. And imagine waking up in the morning and just being in the flow, where you know that you have ever had those days where everything just seems to go right. When you drive to work, you're perfectly on time. When anything comes up, you handle it with ease. And really, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And good morning, Lise. Great to have you here. And I wish I could go on those slides you have. Those look so fun. Anyway, let's talk about number 1 would be removing toxic people from your life or limiting. And we're going to talk about that. You know the type of people that complain all the time, that bring you down. Maybe you've got some people that really do put you down, truly. It could be a colleague, it could be If it's family members, sometimes it's harder to remove those people, and then you need to set boundaries. In order to stay in the flow, if you remove these people that are complaining, that are gossiping negatively all the time, and that are just putting you in a bad space, it's going to be much easier for you to have things that just seem to go right and staying in the flow. So again, if it's a family member, sometimes you have to just limit that, and maybe you just let them know what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate, as far as how they are speaking to you, as far as how much time you are giving them. And really thinking about that, I know for me, I tolerated way more than I should have. And there were people that I have, sometimes, like I said, you can't totally eliminate, but there's been a lot of people that are negative that I choose not to. And I think it is your choice. It's your choice. Who do you want to be around? Positive people or negative people? And to be positive yourself, I think, is really important too. So that's the number one choice. Number two is forgiving people. And forgiving people, it's really a huge thing to do that, because when you're holding on to any kind of resentment or anger, because that's how it comes out. If you have someone or you have something that you haven't forgiven, you'll notice it with your emotions, and your heart kind of holds on to it. And in order to really be in the flow, you've got to try and release that. And sometimes I get it. It's really harder. It's easier said than done. And a lot of clients will come to me and say, well, I have forgiven everybody and I don't have any resentment or, whatever. Let me give you an example. I had a client who actually said that to me. And she was trying to get clarity on what she wanted to do and wanted to change up. She was kind of going into a little bit of retirement and wanted to she didn't really know what she wanted. Anyway, as we talked and as we got a little bit deeper, I realized that she had some anger, and it was with her husband. And the more she thought about it, she realized that this was really true. And so, long story short, what we did is we went in and looked at a different perspective of how she could view, because she loved her husband. How could she view her husband differently to find more love and to be grateful? And so she realized that, wow, he was really always there for her. He was funny. He was a great provider. And she just made a list of these things. And her relationship totally changed because she released it. And that anger just went away. And that's in your subconscious. Sometimes it's people or things that have happened long ago that keep coming up, and you don't even know that they're there. They just creep up. And so, that's what I do with people with some of that work of just going into sort of a deeper look at what is holding you back. And so she ended up, she got clarity. She was working, so she got a part-time job that she loved, and she started having date night with her husband. So, how awesome is that? So forgiving, I've forgiven my ex-husband. You know what? I've looked back and looked at other people that I've needed to forgive, and I was very surprised at who I needed to forgive. But I've released that. I totally have, and I'm in the flow. And am I always in the flow? No, I'm not. You know what? You have to constantly work at it. I'm in the flow a lot more than I used to be. And I can, the trick is that I've got the tools that I can switch to get in the flow. So I know how to do that. So it's practicing these things that's going to help you. And why not go through life happy, right? So the next one is pursuing your passions. And your passions, gosh, you know when you're doing something that you love, you exude it, right? And everybody around you benefits. And so it doesn't have to, if it's not possible for your job to be doing what you like or love, I understand that because we do have to make a living. And I'm blessed really that I can do a job now that I've chosen and that I absolutely love and am able to help and work with others the way that I want to. However, it could be a hobby or it could be something on the side that you do. And I know T. Harv Eker, who wrote the book, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and I went to see his seminar. He's got so many great quotes back 10 years ago. And one of the things that he says is, if you're not doing what you want, you're always going to be looking for an exit sign, always going to be looking for a way out. And so if you really think about that, if I'm always going to be doing that, it's going to be kind of hard to be in the flow. So find other things that you love to do and pursue them. And that's really going to help you to stay in the flow. So the next one is being grateful. And yes, we do talk about this. I talked about this with my former client, how grateful she was for her husband, and being grateful for the things that you have. Because so often we're always grasping, oh, I'll be happy when I get this, I'll be happy when I do that. No, it's right in the moment. It's just being happy where you are and enjoying the journey and being grateful for everything. And the reason is because the more you focus on that and celebrating, like we do in the beginning of each Friday, you're putting yourself and your emotions in just a place of love and happiness. And that's what makes you again, exude that, and it's what makes your life just flow easier, and you're able to handle everything easier. For some reason, it's going to get rid of a lot of those negative emotions, and your decision making is better. Your relationships are better, and your success if you're in the flow. I mean, if you're going to be doing something, you might as well be doing it with ease. So being grateful and really noticing when you are negative, to have that tool. What I do is I switch to negative. No. If I'm negative, I'm going to be aware of it first of all, and then say, okay, I'm going to start being grateful and start listing all the things that I'm grateful for. And when you're in the moment, I talked about this before, and being grateful, you can't be anxious or sad or worried. You're going to be right where you want to be. And being grateful is going to keep you in the flow. And you can just delete. You get to a point where you kind of can just delete things easier. The more practice you have, you can just say, oh, that's a negative thought. Bye-bye. See you later. So that's really important. And let me give you an example of when I wasn't in the flow. And I remember I woke up one morning and I made myself a cup of coffee and sat down, and next thing I know, it's in my lap. And so I get up and I start getting ready and go to put my shirt on, and my shirt is missing a button. Now, I had an important meeting that morning, so you can imagine how my mind was going. It's thinking, oh, I'm going to be late. She's not going to be there, blah, blah, blah. It's going all these negative thoughts. And then I got in the car and the traffic was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Got to where I was going. Of course, I couldn't find a parking space, right? You ever had one of those days? You know what I'm talking about. And we do. And so, had looking back in retrospect, if I had shifted if I did what I know now and shifted my thoughts to, I am so grateful for my home. I'm grateful that the coffee didn't ruin the carpet. I'm grateful that I have a car. I'm going to be able to get to where I want to go. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to even have this job that I have. And you just switch that over, my day would have gone so much better, because it's that dominoes effect. So it's your choice how you want to be, in the flow or out of whack. Okay, so let's move on. And the next one is, and this one, it's going to sound a little woo-woo to some people. Now, to some people it won't, and people understand. Taking care of your inner child. And I say this because you've got that little mini you, right, inside you that was influenced when you were really younger. And so it still voices its opinion, right? When you're about to do something, the little voices saying, oh, don't take that risk. You've tried that before. You're not good enough to do that. You're not smart enough. You don't have what it takes. You're not this, you're not that. That voice just keeps going. Sometimes the scream is really loud. Now imagine if we could it's always going to be there, because you develop those experiences as a little child, a little he or she, and so they're always going to be there, and they're kind of in your subconscious. And if you could just reassure that inner child that everything is okay, that it's safe, because that's really their job, is to keep you safe, and you know what, just status quo, and just keep doing what you're doing. So this is, if you are trying something new, or you're just doing something that out of your normal realm of the everyday, those voices, if you just calm them down and be aware of them. That's probably the biggest thing. Be aware of it and be compassionate. So it's being compassionate with yourself and telling yourself everything's okay. It's all going to work out. And having faith is huge as well. When you have that faith that you know everything's going to be okay. This is going to help you to stay in the flow. And when you're in the flow, like I said, you go in and out. I'm not always in the flow. I try to be. It's easier for me every single day. And the more you work on it, the easier, I believe, it becomes. So this is what I have today. And I hope that you do something to help you stay in the flow today, and think about that this week, and continue to celebrate this wonderful Independence weekend. If you're with your family, you know what, some people are not. Some people don't have family. You might be with your friends. You might be by yourself. Gosh, that's okay. Celebrate yourself and enjoy this fabulous Friday. Enjoy the fabulous weekend, and have a very, very fruitful week this week. And so happy you could join us today. Have a great day, and I'll be back next week, oh, I just want to say if you want to find out more about me, you can go to my website. It is neversettlelifecoaching.com. And I've got more information on there. I've actually got a course that's 21 days that I think you would love. It says it's for divorced women, it's for single married women. It's great to help you, give you exercises for the week to stay in the flow. So enjoy your weekend. Have a very fruitful week. And I'll see you next time for more tips and inspiration on Fruitful Fridays. Bye-bye, everybody. Hello, this doesn't want to end. This is not letting me end. There we go.